Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Luke and today I have a bit of a different video for you. I'm joined by my mum and we're going to chat about vintage perfumes and how perfume culture has changed over the years. I own quite a few fragrances my mum used to wear back in the late 80s and early 90s. I hope you'll enjoy this video. You won't see us on camera, but there will be some interesting footage nonetheless. So let's get started. So hi Mum, thank you for coming.
Hi Luke, thank you for having me.
So let's start with the first question. Can you tell me, what was perfume shopping like back then? When did you first get into perfumes?
Well, I bought my first perfume already in the 80s, but 1990s for me were a time of freedom of travel and exploring life. I was a student and a young adult. And actually, I was a young journalist and already earning my own money, receiving assignments, invitations. That included a lot of travel. So since my travel costs were mostly covered and also food was provided for, I had some money to spend on my luxury items like perfumes. So my first one came from the house of Fragonard. I bought them in Nice during a trip to Côte d'Azur, and I remember stopping in 1991 while traveling to Barcelona in Nice, and they gave us a lovely presentation at Fragonard, and I learned how perfumes had been carefully created from plants cultivated in the nearby region, a famous region of Gres. So that was very interesting.
We did find a photo of the Fragonard coffret that you owned. This is the one, right?
Yes, this was exactly my first box, dark blue with 5 milliliter bottles. One was for me and I also bought another one for my mom as a gift. I used these scents on my nights out with friends.
The world was quite different back then, wasn't it? No fast fashion, mostly high quality perfumes, and when you bought one, you used it up. Unlike today, when we consume everything en masse. Do you agree?
Yes, of course. Our travel was much more expensive and luxurious. For example, a plane ticket around Europe, say from London to Paris or from Vienna to Cyprus, would be around 500, 600 or more in today's money, even up to 1,000. The cost would include a full hot meal and any amount of luggage, which is great, isn't it? On one flight from Vienna to Copenhagen, I remember being served a lovely portion of shrimp. On Air France to Paris, I was served a beautiful French meal with a croissant as a starter and a delicious main course, and of course a dessert and a champagne. So I usually traveled with a 30-kilogram suitcase, leaving some empty space always for the goodies I might buy. And also, airports, they were not crowded like today. High-end stores like Hermes and perfume boutiques, they were everywhere. Luxury was synonymous with travel. Yes, you're right, fast fashion did not exist at all. All perfumes were expensive and a bottle would cost about €100 in today's money. My first bottle was Dior Poison, which was famous for a while. I liked the 80s music hit, which was also called Poison by Alice Cooper. This song surely influenced me a lot. I also liked the House of Dior at that time. I was buying their cosmetics, and it seemed quite logical for me to try their perfumes as well. So I used Poison up to the last drop, and for about a year or more, it was my only bottle besides those small 5 milliliter Fragonard bottles. I would wear Poison on my nights out, like Friday or Saturday disco nights, and also to larger social events, business events, but not every day.
You were traveling a lot at the time. Can you tell me about your trip to Paris in 1995?
That was a 6-day business trip and my first trip to Paris. I took a large suitcase as usual, half empty of course, because I was saving some money, expecting to go shopping for clothes, for shoes and for perfumes. When my Paris workday was over, I would roam around Champs-Élysées and other parts of the city. I ate the best croissants and omelettes. My room was on the Avenue MacMahon, just a few steps away from Arc de Triomphe. It was June, the days were warm and beautiful, and it was a summer sale period, so there were great opportunities to be curious, to explore, and to buy. I became enthusiastic about Krizia perfumes in Paris, and I bought Crazy Krizia.
Crazy Krizia was launched back in 1991, so it was fairly new at the time. Did you know that it was created by Dominique Ropion, who was one of the most famous perfumers of all time?
Wow, how interesting. I did not know that.
Like most renowned perfumers, he completed his perfume training in Gres, the perfume capital of the world, which you visited. Unfortunately, Krizia was discontinued. I remember seeing bottles online a couple of years ago, but now it's completely gone, sadly.
I really loved Crazy Krizia. I loved its vanillic scent and its freshness.
Yes, it's an ambery vanilla with citruses and aromatic notes in the top notes. So what feelings did this fragrance evoke for you?
It was something I would describe as the scent of freedom. Thinking back, what would I seek to find in a perfume at that time in my life? I think I mostly wished to enhance this feeling of freshness, of adventure, being full of life, simply loving life. My luggage was quite full at the end of my Paris trip. I still have this small yellow velvety bag, and I bought yellow shoes with newspaper letters printed on them. They were quite a hit, pretty special, but now they're long gone. But I do still have the matching bag with a golden chain, not, of course, a real gold. The yellow bottle of Crazy Krizia with a golden cap seemed to fit right in. They were high-quality items, and I wore them a lot.
Did you have any other fragrances? What were your other fragrances?
I fell in love with the House of Dior, and as soon as the green bottle of Tendre Poison came out, that was in 1994, I had to have it, and I loved the scent a lot more than the famous popular purple version of Poison from 1985.
Tendre Poison or Tendre Poison is another fragrance that has been discontinued, but luckily I own Cabotine from the house of Gres, which most people consider to be very similar. And you agree, right?
Yes, Luke, very similar. It instantly evoked memories.
Cabotine actually came out a couple of years earlier, and it's a green floral scent. It's very affordable and also quite potent. I also really like it, and I keep a small bottle in my collection. What was it about Tendre Poison that you liked so much?
I find it so gentle, light, not offensive. It's fresh and warm at the same time, like the fresh, clear blue sea of the Santorini, which we enjoyed in 1997 when the island was not yet crowded. I had that perfume with me then. And I remember buying a bottle of Tendre Poison on one of my flights. You know, in the 90s, you would get a thick airline magazine with more than 100 pages. You could relax in the air, you could read articles, enjoy photos and stories of the country you were traveling to, and for at least half an hour, you could scan through the vast airline catalog. And shopping in the air wasn't more expensive compared to the duty-free prices. This way, I also bought my next favorite scent, which was Cerruti 1881. I must have gone through 4 large bottles in the years to come. The scent was my signature fragrance for a long time. It would relax me. It would give me confidence and composure during late-night social and business events, like the one on this photo. We had a business school conference at Hilton in Nicosia, the capital of Cyprus, and this was my only perfume bottle then. I had no need to search for other scents. This one was perfectly satisfying. Tendre, Poison and Cerruti 1881 are still my favorites. What do they have in common? Can you tell me what is in them that may resonate with me?
Yes, of course. Tendre, Poison, Cabotine and Cerruti are florals. Tendre, Poison and Cabotine are more green, while Cerruti is a powdery floral. They all have this modern 90s vibe to them, and they're lighter and easier to wear than strong classic orientals and other classics. I think you just really like florals that smell natural and not too synthetic or artificial. Cabotine and Tendre, Poison are quite photorealistic, I would say. I can smell the tuberose in them, for example. They're both green, but also sweet and floral, and they also smell honeyed. They have this honeyed scent to them. And we both know that you really like honey. You even wrote a book about it, didn't you? So maybe on some unconscious level, that's why you like them so much. What do you think?
Oh yes, I do love honey. I had no idea that this note is in there. All my bottles were picked so intuitively.
Yes, that's right. Back then, you had no way of knowing what the perfume notes in these fragrances were. So you bought them based on your nose. Your nose was the judge, wasn't it?
That's right, that's right.
And Cerruti 1881 is also a floral, but it's a bit softer. It's more powdery, more musky, more aquatic, more refined, definitely more refined, and more, I don't know, business casual than Poison or Tendre, Poison, which are both intense, going out fragrances. They really make a statement. Cerruti is a bit more demure, a bit more understated, I would say. I still think it's quite a strong fragrance because it's from the 90s. I'm smelling it on my hand. And you sprayed Poison on paper. I can definitely smell the Cerruti, but Poison is overpowering everything else. It's just
dominating.
Yes, it's a bomb of a fragrance. I have a full review on it. I filmed it about a year ago. I'll put the link in the description. So now let's move to my next question, the next topic. How would you say perfume culture has changed? I would say that apart from fragrance enthusiasts like myself and this lovely community that we have here on YouTube, most people don't really wear fragrance anymore. The world has become so sanitary. People seem to get offended by strong smells, and not that many people are still wearing fragrances. When I'm out and about, I rarely smell perfume on other people.
Yes, today we have a flood of scents, but not a flood of users. In the 80s and 90s, you couldn't find perfumes in small towns or on every street corner. Buying a perfume was quite an experience. We would take a lot of time. There was no internet and you didn't know what a scent was until you tried it. Often we would also spend a whole hour testing, discussing fragrances in the store. You would go to a duty-free shop or find a famous street with a specialized store where the salesperson wasn't just a student.
Yes, nowadays these salespeople don't really know what they're talking about. The number of times I've been told wrong perfume notes, I can't even tell you. I don't listen to them. I just enter the store, I smell what I want to smell, and I leave. That's it. I don't deal with them, and I don't even buy fragrances there. I order them online because they're much cheaper.
You couldn't order them online back then, but if you were in a store and you asked for advice, the assistant could really help you out a lot in finding what you were looking for. So today it's much easier to access information. Knowledge is more open to everyone. There's so many perfume options to choose from. 30 years ago, people bought perfumes more as rarities and for special occasions. Today, anyone can buy them, which is great, but it also means perfumes are not quite as luxury as they once were. I rarely wear them today, but what you loved once, you cannot forget. You do continue to love it. The scent brings back memories and pleasant feelings from the past, recreating certain moments. And do you remember how I reacted when you opened the bottle of Cabotine to ask me if it really smells like Tendre Poison?
Oh yes, absolutely. It was a complete déjà vu, or as I like to call it, déjà senti, already smelled. You were extremely moved and you said, "This is it, this is the one, it smells exactly like Tendre Poison." And after years of not having smelt it, the memory was still alive.
It surprised me, it certainly did. It totally lifted my spirit. The scent immediately influenced my senses and opened up some memories. Isn't that what it's all about? A scent reminds us that life is free and beautiful. It's not about how expensive or how famous your bottle is. It's intimate, what it may trigger inside, what memories it revives, how it inspires you to feel good about life.
And on that note, we shall end this video. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like this video and leave us a comment down below. Bye.
Bye.